Hi everyone, it's time on Sunday, so hope you had a good weekend. Want to give you a quick recap on last week and what's going to happen this week. Obviously, the market have been really struggling, and as you know that May is always a phase of go away, sell away, and go away. So, the market on Monday was going to mix as soaring commodity prices struck fears over inflation. However, the market was slipped before market close. Oil futures rose after key U.S. pipeline was targeted in a cyber attack on the weekend. The attack led to the shutdown of Colonial Pipeline, the country's largest pipeline that carries around 2.5 million barrels a day, or around 45% of the East Coast fuel needs. Ether recorded its biggest one-day gain, but Dogecoin plunged 10%. The S&P 500 was down 1%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 1.56%, or 542 points, and it lost more than 600 points intraday. The Nasdaq Composite was down 0.2%, but had been down more than 2%. Tesla was a struggle, flipping more than 1% after report, and its April sales in China slumped 27%. The rally in Silicon, meanwhile, paused as the reporting trade ran out of steam. Robot, symbol RBLX, delivered first quarter results that fell short of estimate, but signed that gaming activity remains robust on platform even as the economic reopening data pays sent its share more than 17% higher. I mean, this game, remember, Roblox is a very popular kids game, just like Minecraft. At the time, maybe even more. You have a little different platform and more dynamics than Minecraft. So a lot of children spend probably over, I would say over 2 hours a day to work on that. But the stock have been started with $60 and you jump up $75, but lately still around $70. So this one I don't know in the future if it turns out to be profitable, it could be really big. So something to be expected and look forward. On the pandemic front, the U.S. Federal Drug and Food Administration offers Pfizer BioNTech vaccine for use in children aged 12 to 15. On Tuesday, inflation concern along with shortage supply on chips drove more selling pressure. The Nasdaq initially fell more than 2% before briefly turned positive, while the Dow Jones fell more than 500 points before pairing some loss. Oil price, however, jumped 0.4% to $65.35 per barrel. On Wednesday, saw tumble in Asia and Europe while futures fell for the fourth day on Wall Street after U.S. inflation shot up a 13-year high. U.S. stock retreat after key inflation data came in significantly higher than expected. The consumer price index increased 4.2% year over year in April and 0.8% over the prior month. This missed the top line but beat earnings per share estimate. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 1.99% or 682 points. The S&P 500 slipped 2.1% and the Nasdaq Composite slumped 2.7%. Crude oil supplies fell 427,000 barrels last week compared with analyst expectation for a drop of 2.817 million barrels. The number of Americans seeking new unemployment benefit continued steady week over week decline, falling below 500,000, hitting another pandemic low. The Fed said Thursday. Alibaba symbol BBA ADR fell 3.1% after China's top e-commerce platform shrunk to a net loss after the company swallowed $2.8 billion fine. Jack in the Box JACK stock fell 5% after burger chain predict higher cost pressures, seeing commodity cost inflation of about 3%, labor cost inflation 5 to 6%. AMC Entertainment, symbol AMC, rose after rising $428 million in fresh equity. U.S. stocks are seen opening higher Friday, continuing to rebound after a difficult start to the week ahead of a release of retail sales data. And again, on weekend or Friday, which typically people will go out and do something, I went to, TJ Maxx or Ross and Marshall. I did saw a lot of people out there. I mean, in restaurant, I still took out to eat with my family, and I went to restaurant. I mean, dining in is still not a lot of people, but still there are a lot of people buying to go. So that definitely, I mean, you see an improvement there as well. So this week productivity has largely been as a result of surge in inflation, with consumer price rising at the fastest rate since 2008 and producer price posting biggest gain in over a decade. It's been a volatile week for oil as a Colonial Pipeline saga and the associated boom-bust boom in gasoline from that play against the backdrop of India fostering COVID situation. Around the market, Coinbase share rose following the crypto exchange fourth quarter result, and as the company said it will soon add Dogecoin to its roster of digital currency to trade. WTI oil price ended at $5.35. The gold price ended at 1,843.98, which some people will see that with devaluation of gold and with the situation yield curve continue to be rising potential, it was targeted to $2,000. So it's, I mean, even if you make $2,000, remember there were time over $2,000 of last year. So so definitely not at a very, gold may actually pass the times of a peak. West has rebounded to 18.81 for previous day of 22, and dollar index is around 90.2 level. Dow Jones Industrial Average ended 34,382.07, Nasdaq ended at 13,429.9, and S&P 500 at 4,173.81. So I could conclude the week Dow definitely and S&P are down a lot. Nasdaq was also suffering, as you know, the high was 14,150. So a lot of, when you see in previous quarter similar behavior actually happening, that once the stock were, the earning announcement have happened on all these big giant stock, the stocks, then the market started to slip to profit selling. And of course, in May is always more a self-fulfilling prophecy that people would actually take a profit as well. And for small cap and EV and international stock, unfortunately, we're still getting beat up at the moment. But we'll see how badly you will end up at the end of May, maybe another 10% down. But I don't think so. I hope you would have some rebound there. But let's say if you start 20% already for small cap at the moment. So for year today, for the one I own. So if you down another 10% to 30%, so we'll see how June and July got pick it up. Hopefully you may rebound 15% or so. Then you may consider selling them probably, or you have to hold them long term. Because I mean, if it doesn't get strong after July, I mean the third quarter earnings and just really hot. I mean, some Chinese stock maybe at end of the year with the GDP will be 8% growth in China, and company really announce earning after the fine, which is the worst of what happened some of the giant stock in China. So they may actually got better prospect. But lately, Pinduoduo, Baidu, and Baba were really badly meet up, and Bilibili finally had really crashed and dropped below $100. I mean, it was standing pretty strong, solid around 110, but this week was actually dropped to pretty bad shape as well. So maybe a time to buy a few shares there. And the HILN obviously was really not doing anything. Hopefully there some good news will be announced, but this stock seems to be pretty slow on any announcement for anything that they've been developed lately. The only good one is XPEV Singaporean. I still believe there's a lot of good potential on that stock. I will forget about NIO, forget about Tesla at the moment. I mean, Tesla, if it dropped to $500, maybe you can buy and looking for 3 months holding positions, but XPeng, pretty one of the strongest one, the sales and meet number, you had a smaller losses than the estimate. So the stock had actually, for whatever odd reason, that last month was $39, dropped it to $23 lower. So now it's $25.70. So I think you'll be good at this position, buy some. And if you did go back to $39, let's do the quick math. That's 30% return, which will help diluting the stock you may have bought at $50 level. And that probably is the only way, I mean, if you have cash on the hand, to help you to improve your position on these stocks you're holding. Otherwise, you may have to wait till 2023 when, when they're really beating the scalability and really, confirming that they are making as a profit. I mean, once the stock turn over to profit, XPEV, I really surely that's going to be way over than $50 plus. So whoever owns the stock probably at the high end, $60 will still make money. So anyway, it was a roller coaster ride in the financial market this week, and volatility is not expected to subside tomorrow with April U.S. retail sales report schedule release. Between a non-farm payroll report and a sharp rise in price, investors eager to see how well the consumer is holding up. While many investors might view Tuesday pledge and surge in the West as a negative side, it may surprise you, but these are actually bullish signal for our free fund stress, Tom Lee said. Well, which he actually been pretty good in last year prediction. His prediction was pretty much all accurate. Since the 1990 and not accounting for recession period, the S&P 500 have returned an average of 10% 6 months after a 40% jump in VEST. Unless these markets end in recession, Lee said a VEST spike this large is simply a panic and reset. And we'll see if this week the market, the future, current moment is positive. If there any positive momentum, there will be Fed meetings coming week. And if they really confirm again that the job market, although have improved, still need another month or so to watch it. I still have friends haven't found a job, and part of it not because they can get a job, but because let's say they used to make $100,000 a year. You wouldn't tell them to get a job $60,000 a year, right? 40% pay cut. So here's the thing again, I would ask people to consider. What is the indication of this unemployment number and the payroll? And what are these people talking about, right? You have to be very careful when you engage in this conversation. I was there. I still had a job. I'm paying a job really cheap right now, which is 60% of my pay cut. I'm taking that because I don't have a choice. I've been out of job 11 months already. So whatever people you talk to, there's probably a mix of people. Some people are getting richer, people get richer. Some people like me who are middle class were suffering very badly in this case. Poor people get subsidizing. So I don't know how you look at the dynamics, but sometimes you just have to be very careful and talk about the economy. Is it really that strong? For people who buy a house, seems to be right now getting a home run. Would that be actually next year the market will be collapsed, right? So that's the Bitcoin, right? And I wouldn't recommend buying Bitcoin right now. Last time I was wrong. You rebuy, but this time since for those of you who didn't know, pay attention. I think it was, Elon Musk did come out that they're not, Tesla no longer taking Bitcoin as the exchange. So that's probably why the market was dominant. And then he also joked around the Dogecoin earlier, the week. So that's why the Dogecoin has suffered so much and ran all the way back. But still, it was higher than the time I was planning to buy. So you got to be careful. Like BTC could be, I don't know, $40,000 to consider buying, and ETH right now is 3530, maybe 3,300. I mean, another 200 down or more. I bought ETH at, if my recollection was at 3,300. So it was up 45 up to 48. I didn't sell them. And the Dogecoin, my recollection, I was planning to buy it at 23, but I didn't buy it. So you keep going up, and currently still at 49. Alright, hope everybody understanding and look at your position, determine if you're cash. I highly recommend look at how things go this week. If there's another dip of a day or two, you will want to put some money in. But I don't want to tell you show hand. But just if you have $10,000, for example, you want to do it, I always recommend it separate into 3 waves, right? And honestly, at this time, I would not say much about doing futures anymore that people want to do. Betting the market is going down. I should have told people to do that, at the beginning of May, but it's now half of the month already. So I don't know if it's going to be rebound this week, or actually it will be more sentiment to drive the market down. So you have to be very careful if you decide to do put option betting stock or the index going down. Have a nice and wonderful week.